NBA betting now, Tuesday, October 21st. I'm Myguyknowsaguy, and I'm hearing that we have two official NBA games to bet on tonight. Let's get right to it. The league has scheduled a big-time doubleheader for us to watch tonight. I can't wait for the games. The Houston Rockets, now led by Kevin Durant, on the road against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. And then we have Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and the Golden State Warriors heading out on the road to take on Luka Doncic and the Lakers. Starting off with the Rockets OKC game, the Oklahoma City Thunder are currently 6.5-point favorites at home against the Rockets. You do see a few sevens on the board for the Rockets, but this line has dropped to -6.5 across the board at the time of recording this video. There was some big injury and lineup news about this game that came out yesterday. OKC All-Star guard Jalen Williams will be inactive to start the season, meaning he will be missing this game tonight with a wrist injury. There were reports that Williams did receive over 20 pain-killing injections in his wrist over the course of the playoff run that the Oklahoma City had. Obviously, Jalen Williams is now one of the premier young players in the entire league. Here's a look at the expected starting five for the Rockets and the Thunder. We all know that Rockets point guard Fred VanVleet is expected to miss the entire season with a torn ACL in his knee, but I've decided to take a closer look at the OKC depth chart for this matchup. We've grown accustomed to seeing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play with Jalen Williams over the last couple of seasons. They've developed into one of the best backcourts in the NBA, if not the best backcourt. So it's reasonable for us to ask this question: where will the supporting offense come from in this OKC lineup tonight against an oversized Rockets lineup? If you didn't know, Isaiah Joe will be missing this game as well. He suffered a knee injury during the preseason for the Thunder. Alex Caruso is expected to start in the absence of Jalen Williams tonight. That's going to put more pressure on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to shoulder the load offensively for this team, but he's more than capable of doing that. I think Shai will answer the call tonight. I know that it's ring night, and we're not really used to seeing such a young team come off of a championship season. Will there be a quote-unquote championship hangover for this young roster? Will they be able to handle the expectations of being the de facto title favorite? This team is now the hunted. One player that has to evolve on this OKC roster team is Chet Holmgren. While he didn't appear in many preseason games, I think this could be the season where Chet evolves as an offensive player for this roster. We already know that he's one of the best defenders in the game at the moment. It was reported that Chet Holmgren worked on his offensive game over the course of the offseason. He said he wanted to come into this season as a more confident offensive player. I think Chet Holmgren will have a huge impact on tonight's game on both sides of the floor against the Rockets. Let's see how it plays out there. Another player that I'm expecting to have a big performance against the Rockets tonight is Aaron Wiggins. OKC Thunder fans like to joke that Aaron Wiggins saved basketball last season, but realistically, he's a solid plug-and-play option for this Thunder offense. Wiggins averaged 12 points per game last season while only averaging 22 minutes a game. He had some huge moments for the Thunder in the playoffs, and I think he could be a player that's poised for a breakout season. One final note for this OKC Thunder depth chart: you definitely don't want to overlook Cason Wallace this season. It's never easy playing backup to an MVP point guard this season, but Cason Wallace is as solid as it gets in the reserve role for the Thunder. He's a defensive menace and a net positive player on offense who also could be poised for a breakout season. On the Houston Rockets side of things, they come into this season with their best preseason title odds since the James Harden era. They're currently plus 1,800 to win the NBA title this season. That's largely due to the fact that they added Kevin Durant to an already ascending roster. Kevin Durant is currently plus 7,000 to win MVP this season, and he's definitely one of the most popular player props on the board tonight. His points prop total is currently listed at 23.5 points. He put together a couple of efficient preseason performances for the Rockets in limited action. I say limited because Kevin Durant only played 2 games in the preseason. We know KD is going to get his over the course of the season. There's a really interesting dynamic of Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City tonight, where he played the first decade plus of his career. It'll be really interesting to see KD match up with Chet Holmgren in tonight's game. Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein make things really difficult for opposing teams at the rim, so I definitely expect KD to compensate for that by letting it fly from 3. OKC are one of the most disciplined teams defensively in the NBA. I don't think they'll make many mistakes on the defensive end tonight. They'll look to keep KD on the perimeter. They'll also look to sort of minimize his free throw attempts in this game. Besides the absence of Jalen Williams, the biggest storyline going into tonight's game is the absence of Fred VanVleet. He's as solid as it gets at the point guard position in the NBA, especially considering the veteran leadership that he provides on the Rockets roster. When you look at the Rockets roster, you see a very deep and talented team, but they do have a glaring hole. They are devoid of primary ball handlers for the most part. You combine that with the fact that Jalen Green, another primary ball handler for the Rockets over the last couple seasons, is now playing for the Phoenix Suns. It's easy to assume that we could witness the evolution of Alperen Şengün this season. Şengün is the second best passing big in the NBA at the moment after Nikola Jokic. A lot of fans already call Şengün Baby Jokic. That's because we've already seen Şengün evolve as a primary initiator on the Rockets offense. He averaged 5 assists a game for the Rockets last year. He also averaged 6.6 assists while representing Turkey at Eurobasket 2025 over the summer. Just yesterday, Alperen Şengün said, "I can play any position. I was bringing the ball up sometimes last year too, but now I have more responsibility. I can do that and help my teammates and more. I can set them up and find the right guy and find the easy shot too." We all know Şengün is a very unselfish player, so it'll be interesting to see how he builds rapport and chemistry with Kevin Durant over the course of the season. I'm expecting big things from Şengün this season, including another All-Star appearance. I probably won't bet Şengün's assists on opening night, but this is definitely an angle that I will be looking to take advantage of over the course of the season. Another potential betting angle for the Houston Rockets in tonight's game and the season is the contract status of Tari Eason. If you didn't know, yesterday was the NBA extension deadline. The Rockets and Eason were not able to reach an extension deal before the deadline on Monday. In my opinion, Tari Eason is a solid two-way player in this league who hasn't been really given a fair shake on the offensive side of things. Although he's a role player who probably won't get much attention from the mainstream media this season, I think Tari Eason could be highly motivated this season. He tends to play with a chip on his shoulder, and he actually had a few big-time offensive performances for the Rockets last season. His points prop total is currently listed at 9.5 points for tonight's season opener against the Thunder. I really lean towards betting that prop line for tonight's game, but I won't be betting any player props in each team's season opener. I usually wait for each team to play a game or two before I jump headfirst into player props, but I will be betting on a side in this Rockets versus Thunder game, and I'll get to that now. Before I share my prediction for Houston Rockets versus OKC Thunder tonight, I want to ask everyone watching this video to smash the like button for me. I made this video somewhat late in the day, and I want to make sure as many people see this video as possible. This is my new betting show, NBA Betting Now. I'll be posting picks almost every day this season. My goal is to give you a quality source of information betting the NBA while enjoying the sport we love. Leave a comment below about anything NBA or predictions related. Let me know your picks for tonight's game, your picks for futures bets, MVP, title, anything. Also, subscribe to the channel while you're here and turn notifications on so you don't miss the rest of my NBA picks this season. Let's get to my pick for Rockets Thunder. Okay, as I said before, this line has dropped to OKC Thunder minus 6.5 on the point spread. The total is currently 227.5. These are two very talented teams. When you look at the Houston Rockets, they have a lot of top-heavy talent, particularly with Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün. They could form into one of the most formidable duos in the NBA. The Thunder will be missing Jalen Williams for tonight's game, but OKC's success has largely been predicated on the strength of their defense. Yes, I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won MVP and led the league in scoring, but this is still a defense-first team, and I still believe that those two factors are the path towards success in today's NBA, even though we've seen an evolution in scoring. The Rockets will look to scale up the usage of Reed Sheppard in tonight's game as a primary ball handler. Sheppard is a very talented young player who is coming off of an explosive performance in the preseason, but I still think he's very inexperienced for the atmosphere that he is going to face tonight. The Rockets will have a chip on their shoulder early on in this game, but I feel that the OKC Thunder will wear them down over the course of 4 quarters. It's funny to say this with them being the champions, but this won't be a very popular pick today, but it's a pick that I've already bet. My NBA pick of the day for the season opener is the OKC Thunder minus 6.5 at minus 112 odds to win 1 unit. Quick thoughts about tonight's game between the Golden State Warriors and the LA Lakers. The Lakers are at home, but they are currently 2.5 point underdogs. The game total for this is currently listed at around 226. Steve Kerr said that Jonathan Kuminga and Jimmy Butler are probable for tonight's game. Both of these players are currently dealing with ankle issues, but they did participate in a light practice session on Monday. Moses Moody has been ruled out for tonight's game with a calf injury. He is an elite defender. Here's a look at the expected starting 5 for tonight's game. There is a surprise on the Lakers side of things. Gabe Vincent will be starting in the backcourt with Luka Doncic. LeBron James was ruled out for the first month of the season 2 weeks ago. The Lakers were actually around -3, -3.5 for this game. The Lakers will be trying to integrate DeAndre Ayton into the lineup tonight. Al Horford will be making his regular season debut for the Warriors. They have a formidable defensive starting five if Jimmy Butler is able to go tonight. Luka Doncic said he is really looking forward to this matchup against Steph Curry tonight. This is going to be a tough game for the Lakers. I really think the Warriors could come into this season with a chip on their shoulder, especially with the bitter taste in their mouth after Steph Curry exited the series with injury against the Timberwolves in the playoffs. I wish I would have jumped on the Warriors at around +3 before the preseason started. Remember, a lot of these opening day lines have been out for over 2 months. I am expecting another monster season from Steph Curry, especially with the addition of a connective center like Al Horford, who is a solid passer. He is up there in age, but he's still a solid defender. I don't have any solid betting advice for this game in terms of leans or picks or player props, but I will be monitoring both of these teams very closely for picks later in the week. Take a second to smash the like button for me and subscribe to my YouTube channel now. Turn notifications on so you don't miss my upcoming NBA picks videos. Leave a comment below about anything NBA or predictions related. I'm Myguyknowsaguy here on my sports predictions channel. You've been watching NBA Betting Now. Best of luck with all of your NBA picks this week. I'll see you next time.